up to potentially 94% of women are wearing the wrong sized bra. And part of that is there's no help. You go into a department store or a shop and nobody helps you. And you grab 4 bras all the same size thinking that's right, but they'll all fit you differently.
You're listening to Becoming MatchFit, the podcast helping athletes and high performers build confidence, clarity, and opportunity on and off the field. I'm your host, Nick Greentree. The other day, I was talking to my mum and I mentioned that I was having a professional bra fitter come on the podcast. She had an instant reaction. And when I asked her about it, she told me that when she was young, her mum took her to a department store for her first bra fitting. She had to stand there really awkwardly with her boobs out while a lady checked her sizings. Mum was mortified. She felt so vulnerable and embarrassed. And unfortunately, she carries this with her still decades later. So it did make me wonder, how bra fittings are done in this day and age? Today's guest is doing incredibly important work in a space that is often overlooked in female sport. Philippa Mitchell is the founder of The Fitting Studio and a professional bra fitter offering in-person fittings in Orange and virtual fittings nationwide. She fits women through every stage of life, from first bra to their last, including sports bras, maternity bras, wire-free, underwide, front fastening, as well as mastectomy, surgical, lymphedema bras, and breast prosthesis. Last year, she was engaged to work with the NRLW Dragons, an initiative led by one of our favourites, Jess Stoll, supported through the Future Female Fund with funding generously donated by Alex Volkanovski. This enabled professional fittings and sports bras for the players for the first time in the club's history. Philippa, welcome.
Thanks, Nick. It's lovely to be here.
So, we were just chatting off air about that story about my mum. And when you hear stories like that, is that something that women come to you and talk about today?
Yes. Particularly the older generation women who, as a rite of passage, were taken to a department store by their mother as teenagers for their first bra fitting. And it was very traumatic for them. And a lot of them still hold on to that and are triggered by certain words. But today, that is not how a bra fitting's done. I think mainly because privacy laws have come into play. And also people are just a bit more empathetic and a bit more aware of, the anxiety around teenage girls and their body image. And they're just developing and it's all new to them. And you have to just be a little bit mindful and respectful of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So can you describe to me, what does a modern professional bra fitting look like today?
Well, for me, it's in a very safe and private space. So I work from a studio at my home by appointment only. So if somebody comes to see me, they are the only one here with me and nobody walks in on them. They're not in a shop. They're not in a fitting room. So it has to be a private and safe space. I have a lot of mums who bring their teenage daughters or mothers who bring their mothers, so it's kind of an intergenerational thing, which I think is really lovely. But it's more about respecting the customer. So I always measure women with their bra on. And if they're a little bit awkward about that, they can leave their top on as well. And I ask them to try bras on because I don't want to see their breasts, but what I want to see is a really beautifully fitting bra that's comfortable for them and giving them the right support. So it's, measuring with the bra on, standing behind them when they take their bra off and allowing them to pick a bra up and put it on without me seeing. I've got a screen. I can come round behind on the other side of the screen so they have complete privacy. So it's a much more mindful and respectful space.
Fantastic. That does sound like a better situation for sure.
Yeah.
So let's take a step back. I'd love to hear about your journey because while it's very unique, it's something that 50% of the population actually needs at some point in their lives.
So we had a Myer department store here in my town in Orange, and I started really when Myer closed. So I was working as a marriage celebrant at the time. I went to a bridal expo and the lady next to me was a bra fitter and she talked me into starting as a sort of a second side hustle to what I was doing because, I could fit my brides for strapless bras. I could fit their bridesmaids. I could then go on to fit my brides for maternity bras when they started a family. So it did start as a side hustle for me. And fortunately for me, just before COVID hit, I took myself to Melbourne to be trained as a fitter of mastectomy bras and breast prosthetics, which meant I was an essential service and could continue working.
Yeah, there's, I'm sure, so many avenues to this industry that you're in. So we're going to be talking about those specifically in the sports world and sports bras.
Yes.
When did you realize that that was a gap in the market?
A customer of mine is an assistant principal at Gilgandra High School, and they ran a boxing program for all the students, but the girls wouldn't participate. So my customer went and said, "Righto, girls, what's going on? Why aren't you boxing?" And they said, "Oh, because it hurts our boobs and we don't have the right bras." Now, Gilgandra, they're about an hour's drive from Dubbo. There is no lingerie store. They have to go to Dubbo, and there's not a lot of options in Dubbo for them. So she sort of light bulb moment went to her principal and said, it was sort of November, December. "Do we have any money left over in our budget?" The principal said, "Well, yeah, we've got some funding." So she said, "Right, I want to buy 2 bras for each of our female students." So she rang me and said, "Can I buy some bras?" Yep, all good. Then early in term 1 of the next school year, I went up there with a kit of sports bras for fitting. So I went in and we fitted all the girls. We ended up fitting over 60. So once they were fitted and went out into the playground and said, "Oh my goodness," to all their friends, you've got to go and see this lady. These bras are amazing, and we're getting them for free from the school." They received all their bras 3 weeks before the athletics carnival, and they saw a 20% increase in the female participation rate just at that athletics carnival. And the assistant principal said to the girls, "Okay, so why?" And they all said, "It's the bras."
So they were comfortable, they were more confident, they didn't have pain.
They said to her, "We can run without
Wow.
doing this."
Yeah.
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 It was just beautiful.
Absolutely. And if you're in a co-ed school, that's very, what's the word?
Confronting.
Yeah, it's
I
very
think it's quite
confronting.
confronting.
Yeah.
And these girls, some of them are developing very quickly,
Mm,
and they're not used to their bodies yet, and they
yes.
just feel so self-conscious.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to be able to help them and say, "Look, stay playing sports, stay running, stay horse riding." It's about development, it's about mental health, it's about social, team playing sports. So that was the start of it. And then it went a little bit viral on some media outlets, which was wonderful. And I've now been to 9 high schools, some of them more than once, to fit the girls for sports bras. And the school either has equity funding, or they reach out to their P&C, or they get local community grants from organisations within their community.
Fantastic. What an amazing story. And I think we know that girls drop out of sports
Oh,
at that teenage
absolutely.
age, and there's a lot of initiatives looking at why that is. But I think you've really hit on one in particular. There, it's the changing of bodies, and it happens at different rates, and we different body shapes as well. So it makes sense that it should be seen as supportive but protective, where it's not just a nice to have.
Absolutely, it's a need to have.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's been quite interesting whenever I've posted on social media that I've been to a high school. There are so many comments from women saying, "Oh my God, if I'd had that when I was at high school, I would have stayed in sport."
amazing.
And it's not just keeping the girls active and in sport, it's, protecting their breast tissue. Some places I go to, and I go to like Nyngan, Cobar, Burke, Canamble, Coonabarabran, Gilgandra, all these places. The girls work after school at a dairy or at the local supermarket stocking shelves, so they can wear their sports bras there as well.
That's a great point, actually. Yeah, the versatility of it and
Yeah.
being comfortable all through the day. It's not just while you're playing sport. You're right.
Yeah.
So tell me, Philippa, different sports are requiring different types of sports bras. We can't just get one sports bra and that does the job. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically there's low, medium and high impact bras for those sports. So a low impact bra is going to be great for yoga, Pilates, some light gym workout. Medium sports bras is quite good for things, look, walking, not running, anything that's not a lot of pivoting, jumping. And then a high impact bra is for horse riding, hockey, netball, soccer, league and union, where there's bounce up and down as well as pivoting, sideways movement. And that's what it's really important for, is your high impact bras.
Okay, so we're talking how much movement's going on in that chest area, but then also, I guess, is there any contact as well? Can we protect our breasts if there is a contact sport as well, or are we just talking to support on ourselves?
So if you're playing a contact sport, my recommendation would be not to wear an underwide bra, mainly because if there is quite solid contact and the underwire snaps, it can cause a great deal of damage. So if it stabs, so it's your ribs, your lungs, your heart, if the underwire goes into your body, there can be quite serious damage. But it's very personal. Some women like to wear an underwired bra for their sport, but my recommendation would be don't. I think if you really like an underwired bra for activities, wear it for training, gym workouts, but on game day, wear a wire-free bra.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We definitely don't want to add to the injury list for
No,
sure.
that's right.
Can
Yes.
you explain a little bit about sort of what can happen to our breasts if they aren't supported correctly?
Yeah. So just under the skin of the breast, there's Cooper's ligaments. There's more than one. So they are like the mesh or the connective tissue that sit just under your skin. Now, if they are stretched, they don't repair. Same with breast tissue. It's when we're young, there's fibrous tissue in our breasts that breaks down slowly over time, is replaced by fat. There's no muscle. The only muscle is against the chest wall. So if your breast tissue is damaged, it doesn't repair. So I always say, look after your breasts. Make sure you're well supported with the right sized bra and the right style of bra for the activity that you're undertaking.
Amazing. The female body is designed to change throughout our lives, whether it's through puberty, through perimenopause or pregnancy, perimenopause, and beyond. What we're noticing, especially in rugby league, because of change of regulations and supporting players in having babies, can you talk
Yes.
about how does that impact things when we're going into pregnancy? Players still might be training, they're giving birth, breastfeeding, and then coming back quite quickly. It's a big change in the body. What
Yeah.
should players be thinking about there?
So I would recommend that any player at about 20 weeks gestation during their pregnancy are fitted for a maternity or feeding bra. Because that for me, if somebody came to me at 20 weeks for a maternity bra fitting, I would go up a band and a cup size. They've already grown to some point. Their ribs expand where babies are pushing up under the ribs. So you can go up a band and a cup size, which then allows for further growth during the rest of the pregnancy. From when you are before your pregnancy to when you've weaned your baby, so quite a period of time, you can actually change by 3 different cup sizes. So from pre-pregnancy to having baby and starting feeding and engorgement, you can be 2 cup sizes bigger.
Wow.
And then once you've weaned baby, you can go back to 1 cup size smaller than you were pre-pregnancy. So there's a lot of change during that time. I haven't yet found a good maternity sports bra. So my recommendation, I've got a low impact maternity sports bra, which is great for walking and low impact things, yoga, Pilates, things like that. But I would say if you're feeding, change out of your nursing bra, put on a really good sports bra for training and game days, and then go back to your nursing bra when you're finished.
Good
That's
tip.
probably the best for supporting breast tissue.
Amazing. Yeah, great tip there. Thank you.
Mm.
And it also leads me to think about last year, you did some work with the NRLW Dragons,
I did.
led
Yes.
by one of our favourites, Jess Stoll. Can you tell us a little bit about that one and the impact that it had?
Yeah. So I visited Wollongong. So I drove down on a Sunday afternoon, was at the club 7:30 Monday morning, ready to go. I fitted 27 of the squad, and it was fantastic. I have a kit of sports bras that I take. So I fitted everybody, and even just putting the sports bra on them was like, oh, wow, this is so comfortable. This is so much more supportive than what I'm wearing. And a lot of the squad were wearing a crop top, which isn't fabulous for, really good support. They've got a fairly physical role there with contact sport, tackling, running. There's all sorts of movement happening. But the feedback I have is really good from the squad and from Jess.
Fantastic. And I guess in that respect, sports bras should actually be part of the kit. How can clubs start to actually plan for this and include it in their budgets?
I think it should be included in the protective equipment like boots, headgear, mouth guards, all those things that they use for protecting other areas of the body, where a bra can also be protective equipment. For women, it is a must-have.
Absolutely. You mentioned schools as well. I love that idea of, again, supportive protective equipment that probably hasn't been thought about as being funded before, but something for the PNC to think about, or other ways that schools can be supported.
Yeah, absolutely. There are organisations that are offering to help high schools with funding. I've reached out to the CWA and they've said local branches are welcome to make that decision for themselves. Some of the high schools I've visited have reached out to local mining companies or other organisations that offer community grants. So it's always worth looking into to help with funding sports bras for high school students.
Fantastic. What are the signs that a bra might not be fitted correctly to your body? Is there telltale signs that you can see, like when you're walking down the street, you're like, yep, 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 I can see them all.
The most visible sign actually is that the nipple line should be halfway between your elbow and your shoulder. So if your breasts are hanging below that halfway point, then that bra's not right. If then your nipple line is halfway between your elbow and your shoulder, when you put your arm down straight, you look younger because your breasts are where they're meant to be, and you also have better shape. I'll stand up. So if your nipple line's halfway, you look younger, plus you've got more shape through here. So any clothing looks better. But then once you've taken your top off and you're not out in public, the less visible signs are things like the front of the bra here, the bridge, the centre front should be sat back against your chest wall. All your breast tissue should be encased in the bra. You should be able to put 2 fingers under your bra strap on your shoulder quite easily. Otherwise, it's too tight. And at the back, you should be able to put your hand up between your bra band and your back so that there's enough give without being too loose or too tight. The underwire should sit at the back of your breast tissue and against your ribs, that all of your breast tissue is encased in the bra, and the weight of your breasts is being carried by the bra, by the cups of the bra, not by you and your shoulders. So you should notice better posture, better breathing. If you have gaping at the top of the cup of a bra, it's too big. If you're spilling out at the front and you can see like a bubbling here, the bra's too small. So if you're wearing a bra that has a very narrow band under your arm and across your back and you have overhang, then the band is too small. So the number is the band and the letter is the cup, and each letter means an inch in breast size.
Right.
16A, 16B, 16C. It's all 1 inch bigger in your bust size.
See, I never knew that.
If you're wearing a bra that's quite tight and you're in a 14C, but you think, oh, okay, so maybe I need to go up to a 16 and the cups still fit, go up a band and down a cup. So a 14C becomes a B. If you've got the other end where the bra band is too big but the cup is fitting, a 14C becomes a D. So you go down a band but up a cup.
Wow. Okay. Again, good tips there. Thank you. I think I always associate my bra size with my clothing size. So if I'm going for a t-shirt or a top or whatever, I then go, well, that's the size I must be for the bra. But you're kind of saying no.
No, if you wear a size 14 in a top, you're probably a 16 in a bra because it's less forgiving. It's against, it's around your body. It's got to be more accurate in a size. Plus, you want to make sure the cup's the right size because, again, the bra is doing the work. The bra is holding the weight of your breasts, and the band is doing a lot of work as well because it's supporting the cups. So just always think about, like, is the band wide enough under my arm? Is it giving me enough support? And bigger women will want a higher underarm band. Yeah,
Yep,
just gives
that
more
makes
support
sense.
through the whole bra.
It's a hard working piece of clothing, isn't it?
It really is. And look, that leads us on to the question around the cost of a bra. Some bras are made up of over 30 components. So,
Wow.
yeah. So you want good fabric, you want good elastic, you want good quality hooks and eyes, you want good quality underwire, you want nice straps, whether you're wearing something thin or something, you want wider straps if you're heavier in the bust, or if you're lighter and you're wearing little tops and things. There's lots of different components to a bra. There is no such thing as the universal or the perfect bra. They all do different things. So you might want to have 3 or 4 different bra styles in your bra wardrobe to accommodate what you're wearing, what activities you're undertaking. Yeah. And also, I think being very aware that an underwire should sit behind your breast tissue, because if it sits too far forward, it's going to cut into your breast tissue, which, again, it's uncomfortable, but it could potentially damage. You also need to always scoop and swoop. So you with your opposite hand, you reach under your arm and lift your breast up and into the center of the cup on both sides. That's ensuring that the breast tissue is always encased in the cup, that the underwire isn't cutting in, and it's not cutting in under your bust line either, and then the bra is doing the work.
Yeah. Fantastic. You've made me think back on my, bra journey. The times where it has cut in is probably because I've grown a bit, whether it's through development or a bit of weight gain or whatever. I have a young daughter, and I'm just wondering, is there a particular time that you would suggest that young girls do get fitted?
I always say wait until they've had their first period. So
Okay.
they might start to develop a little bit before that. And then once they've had their first or their first 3 periods, you notice a fair difference in their development. So, a crop top from Bonds is fine when they first start to develop and bud. But then, once you're thinking look, they look like about a B or a C cup, it might be a good time to get them fitted. And with tweens and teens, again, I always go a little bit bigger in the band and the cup so that they don't grow out. They have a growth spurt 3 weeks later and they've grown out of it. It's a bit of a waste of your money for you. So you want something that's going to last them about 6 to 12 months at least. And then if you notice they're bulging out the side or bulging out the front, okay, it's then time to think, right, we need a refitting. We need to go up a band or a cup size or both. Yeah.
So I guess there's no real timeline that you sort of, set on the calendar and you go every 12
Yeah.
months for your breast development. It's quite personal and you
Yes.
kind of have to monitor that.
Yeah, it's very different. And the other thing that's quite interesting, so girls do develop some as early as age 10, others are not until they're 15. It's also really interesting to note that no person is symmetrical in their hands, their feet, their body. The breasts are the same. No person has 2 breasts exactly the same size, but there are some degrees where it is quite significantly different, and I can help people with that difference as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, I have personally looked down and it can be tricky to know which side is being fitted properly, right?
We need to cater for the bigger side, because again, you don't want that bubbling out and you need it
Hmm.
protected. And then you can use what's called a partial breast form or a shaper to sort of even you up and give that other side a bit more shape and bulk. And it also means that that breast isn't sort of flopping around in the cup, that it's filling the cup and getting more support.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Gosh, I'm learning
there's
so
a lot
much here
to it.
today. There is a lot to it. I love this. It's so good.
Also, need to mention that up to potentially 94% of women are wearing the wrong size bra. And part of that is there's no help. You go into a
Mm.
department store or a shop and nobody helps you. And you grab 4 bras all the same size thinking that's right, but they'll all fit you differently. They're all, and it's not because of different brands, it's because they're made from different fabrics. They're made different ways, so the fit is slightly different. And that's why I think it's really important to seek out a professional bra fitter, because we know how all the different bras fit. So you might come to me and buy 4 bras and you might walk out with 4 bras in 4 different sizes. Hopefully not. But there is always that, a sports bra is made from much firmer fabric because it's almost like a compression garment. So you're probably going to be a slightly bigger size in a sports bra because it is that firmness. Whereas a nice, pretty lacy bra with a lot of stretch in it, you might be a smaller size. And I think too, particularly with sports bras, it's really important to get girls, your daughters, into sports bras quite early as well, because it keeps them active, it keeps them in sport. I've had so many people comment to me that if only this initiative had been available when they were at high school, they would have stayed playing sport. People saying, I'm a 16 double G, I could never find a sports bra that fitted properly, so I didn't play sport anymore. And it's really sad.
That is very sad. And they do lose out on the great benefits of sport and being part of a team. So
Yeah.
this if this can keep them in sport, then fantastic. We were talking earlier about just the mindset of sizing. We can't help certain aspects of our body shape and the way that we develop. And there's nothing wrong with having to get a bigger bra size or
And I say, it's like your age. Don't be defined by a number. With a bra, be defined by the comfort and the support. Now, we've just had International Women's Day, so we need to embrace the beauty of our bodies and what our bodies do for us. To me, it's a vessel for my soul. And to me, what's more important is my soul, my kindness, and my respectfulness of others. And we go through teenage years, we go through pregnancy, perimenopause, menopause, we have weight gain, weight loss. All these things happen to women over time, and we are so conscious of our bodies, but let's just embrace the beauty of what our bodies do. We give
absolutely.
birth, we nurture children, we mother, we be best friends, sisters, daughters, we be everything. Let's be who we are and let's embrace it.
How can we get in contact with you? Because I know that I will be reaching out to you for your services. Because no more going to the shops for me.
And, it's a very normal reaction. A lot of women say to me, I hate bra shopping. I get it. It's traumatic, like we spoke about earlier with your mum. So I offer in-person fittings at my studio in Orange. I also do travel and do pop-up shops around North West New South Wales. I offer virtual fittings. So you book a virtual fitting, I'll send you an email with self-measuring instructions and 5 questions. So I just sort of want to know how old you are and what you do for work and what issues you're having with bras and how I can help. I also send you a Zoom meeting invitation. And I just ask for all that information back before we meet. Then when we meet, I know what size you are, what issues you're having, and what sort of bras you like. And I'm ready to recommend what I believe is the best bras for you, your lifestyle, your body shape, and your bust size. Right? So it's kind of it's a win-win and it's a match-up for you. And then once we've spoken and you say, I like that bra in that colour and that bra in that colour, I'll post them to you. Now, 90% of the time I get it right. There might be just a tweak, a cup size, a half cup size, and I just ask the customer if they can post the bras back to me and I'll send back the right size. I now have customers in every state and territory in Australia.
Amazing.
I have one customer who lives in the Northern Territory. She's a 14 double G and she told me it's a 1,600 kilometre round trip to buy a bra.
Oh my gosh.
So I just get messages about every 18 months from her, can I just have 3 more bras? And off they go.
Too easy. That's so good.
Sometimes with a matching brief, it's lovely. And I've just developed a new online fitting. So for people who are really time poor, you might live in central Queensland on a farm with 3 small children and you're helping your husband on the farm. 10 o'clock at night, you think, damn, I need a new bra. On my website, online fittings, you go and you put your name, your address, your phone number, 3 measurements, answer 5 questions, submit. It costs you $25. And I get an email with all that information. I will reply saying these are the bras I recommend. And then when you buy something from me, you get the $25 back.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
That's
anyone
good.
can do it at any time. Because I know we think about our bras when we put them on in the morning and we think about them when we take them off at night and we go, damn, I need a new bra, but all the shops are now closed, right? So It's simple, it's easy. I'll get back to you the next day and we go from there.
Fantastic. Or you just having a complete aversion, or it's not the right time to go to the shops, or they're out of stock. I love shopping, but
Shopping.
not brush.
So I have a lot of customers who are transgender, who are non-binary, who have anxiety, who have medical issues, endometriosis. Some ladies have had mastectomies. I do the prosthetics as well and the mastectomy bras. So, there's a lot of people out there who really struggle. And I'm happy to help. And any questions, if you've got questions, just contact me, reach out.
Lovely. Oh, you're an angel.
So my website is www.thefittingstudio.com.au.
Fantastic.
You can also follow me on Facebook, which is The Fitting Studio by Philippa Mitchell. And Instagram, it's _fitting_studio.
Perfect. We'll include those links in the show notes.
Thank you.
As our last question that we always ask, what does becoming MatchFit mean to you?
So I think the obvious answer is physically fit, right? Physically ready. But as we talked about, it's also all your protective equipment. It's your mouth guard and your shin guards and your headgear and the right bra, right? I think it's also the team around you. So if you're in a team sport, it's your teammates. It's also your coach and your managers. If you're not in a team sport and you're an elite athlete, you might be a runner or a tennis player, it's about making sure you've got the right fit with your team, your coaches, your trainers, your physiotherapists, your massage therapists. So they might be the best coach in the world, but if they don't fit with your personality, it's not a fit, right? So it's kind of a holistic approach, I think, to be match fit.
Definitely agree. Yes, we all need the support that we can get around us to be match fit. Thank you so much, Philippa. It's been such a treat chatting with you. I have learnt so much and, I think a lot of listeners will as well. So thank you for sharing.
Absolute pleasure, Nick. Thank you.
And I'll put all those links in the show notes so people know where to find you.
Thanks so much for listening to Becoming MatchFit. If today's conversation inspired you, feel free to share it with a teammate or someone you love as well. You can access free tools, resources, and our community in MatchFit 360 Academy. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, unlock your value, change your game, and become MatchFit.